Hello, my name is Leona Morebrave, and today I want to talk about pursuing your dreams versus pursuing something practical. Recently in my life, I've had to make a decision if I'm gonna stay where I am, which is currently in my local hometown, which is a place like I've spent no time in my entire existence, versus do you want to run off to New York, maybe try to be a playwright, maybe try to do some comedy and stuff like that. And there's someone who's a little bit interested in me coming there. Why, it doesn't matter, but I've had people encouraging me to go to New York to pursue my dreams. Even family, they're like, "You're an artist. You've always been an artist." And this is true. Like when I was younger, I used to draw a lot, and I'm quite a fantastic artist actually. And when I was in university, I would sell my paintings. And I always had money. I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur because at that time, those kind of words were not even in my orbit. Um, and uh, and it was just something that came naturally. Like I didn't think about how to build a business. Like I was just drawing so much that people would come up to me and they'd be like, "Hey, that's really cool. Can you like draw my favorite TV character? Or can you draw me? Can you draw my grandmother?" And I started making money that way. And at the time, I was very humble. I was selling sketches for like 20, 40 bucks. But I was selling them so consistently that, I felt like I had a little bit of freedom with my money at that time. Then, when graduation came around, people were like, well, it's time for you to put art behind you and go get a job. So I did. I will say I've never been more stressed and made less money than when I was working for someone else. So when people say you need to go be an artist, it is appealing because I will say working for other people is not the deal. You are what is referred to as a wage slave. And I do believe that at some point in your life, you need to figure out how to fight for your own financial freedom and how to just basically be your own boss because I mean there are companies where people have worked for them for like until retirement for 40, 50, 60 years and then they do something shady and sly towards the end of that and they sell the company over to like China or Vietnam and then they have no more financial responsibilities to US soil. So there are cases like all across of America of people being screwed out of their pensions, screwed out of their retirement because the company changed over to another foreign country. So that's the thing is like the big boss is never going to be interested in the 100, 500, 10,000 million workers over their own pockets. Like they are never going to be. The only one who's going to be interested in your own financial pockets is you. So I absolutely believe that at some point you need to find your own financial freedom. However, when we go back to the question, should you pursue dreams or practicality? Yes, I do think you need to be financially responsible first before pursuing dreams. Now, I'm not saying being a slave wage, whatever, is like great. I'm not saying like working at Amazon for $16 an hour is the dream. But if it puts bills over your head and empowers you to save a little bit of money and empowers you to rent an apartment so you have a safe space to create. In the meantime, I think you should pursue being a wage slave. I keep saying that backwards. Pardon me. Anyways, so I find that the most devastating experiences I've had in life is actually working for other people. I've been extorted by companies, especially when I've worked abroad, like when I've worked abroad in China. I've also been um, just like really stressed out about how to even get to the company. For me, transport has been challenging. You may or may not have seen some of my car videos. Like I bought a little beater car in America. It's very unreliable. It's always breaking down. It's always having a problem. And I picked a company that was kind of like a 45-minute commute away from me. So ultimately, like whether I was amazing at the job or not, whether this job was going to be great for me or not, like just getting there was a real challenge. So also like we have this new boom thanks to technology where you can work from home, where you can You can not only do your dream job from home, where like maybe you're a social media marketer, or you're just an artist, or you're a shopper selling things on eBay. You can also do more traditional jobs from home. Like nowadays, you don't have to go all the way to China to teach Chinese kids. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. Nowadays, you don't have to go into a call center where there's so many cubicles and you're like sitting in a row of cubicles with 100 other people. You can strap on your headphones and communicate with people from home. So like, there is you can do whether you're pursuing your dreams or you're pursuing a wage slave job, you can do it from the comfort of your home. And what I would say is that until you're actually making money off of what you consider your business or your dream job, whether you consider it the same thing, you do need to have money coming in. Like, YouTube is a good thing to talk about. Like, there's a lot of people who want to be a YouTube vlogger. Well, first of all, like, if you weren't on this platform 10 years ago, it's very hard for your channel to get picked up. And then there are so many things that you have to understand. Like, for instance, I have an old YouTube channel. I think I started it in like 2014, 2016. And back then, I wasn't making content. I think I like uploaded a video like a year, and mostly like in the like to show my mother like a monkey in Thailand or something like that. Like it wasn't serious. Like I think the only reason I even had a YouTube account was to watch other YouTube videos, to support other YouTubers with a subscribe or a like, because you usually have to have your own channel to do that, whether you're active on it or not. And then also just because like YouTube is connected also to your Google account. So like when I first opened up my YouTube account, I had like no reason at all to have a YouTube account. Like I wasn't planning on being a YouTuber. Skip forward to 2020, after my YouTube account had been open for a few years. I started making YouTube videos in South Korea because of the pandemic, and some of them were good, some of them were not great. But then people were like, some of your videos are pretty cool. They made me laugh. Haha, you're funny. Maybe you should make more videos. But like, it's like at this stage in the game, like I have the knowledge to know whether you're working on your dream or building a business, it's going to take 5 to 10 years, honestly, just to get momentum. And like, and first of all, like, YouTubers have a serious job to do. Like, you might see a 5-10 minute video and think they have the greatest job in the world, but you don't know the kind of finances they had to invest in that video. Like, especially when you see people who are making like amazingly cool videos, like they're making like the biggest castle in Legos ever. Like, well, how much money did you have to spend on those Legos? And then how much money did you spend on your camera equipment? Like, so, like, some of the YouTube videos that have like 1 million views, it's like they already spent like a couple grand just to make the video. And then also, like, the reality is like YouTube videos where something cool is being documented and performs well. Like, and by cool, I mean, like, are they like skydiving? Are they snorkeling in Hawaii? Are they The Rock? Are they Taylor Swift? Because another thing you have to compete with on YouTube is like Taylor Swift and The Rock. Like, so there's another thing is like, you need a portfolio and you need a plan. And I think like we live in this age of self-help. Self-help has been always sort of in the background, but obviously with things like YouTube, self-help has boomed. And like, and I remember being younger listening to self-help, like, yeah, screw the 9-to-5 day job. Yeah, just go in there and tell your boss I deserve more money. Yeah, quit your job. Quit it now. Yeah, be your own person. And honestly, some of those videos set you up for failure because it makes you devalue what you have and what is right in front of you. It's fine to be a teacher for a season. It's honestly fine that you're a factory worker. And at the end of the day, it always does come down to your own heart, your own mind, your own soul, like what you want for yourself. Do I want freedom and financial independence? Absolutely. But am I like hell bent on it needs to come from like a very specific platform? Like, am I like, oh, I have to make $1 million on YouTube? No, I'm not. Am I like, oh, I have to make $1 million with music? No, I'm not. Am I like, oh, I really have to sell this book? No, I'm not. And honestly, maybe the fact that I don't have 100% focus like that is why I'm currently not being successful, because I do believe the main key to success is focus. And if we're going back to self-help gurus, like almost every single one of them will tell you the main key to success is focus. But life has made me concerned with, yes, paying the bills and practicality, because I no longer have the luxury of being carefree. So I will say, like, when you're young, definitely make an attempt at pursuing your dreams. But I will say, like I've been to New York, and it's like it's littered with homeless people. Don't you think they went there with a dream? And the same is true of Los Angeles, California. It's littered with homeless people. Don't you think they came there with a dream? So like I think you need to be careful, because like like what do we mean by pursuing your dreams? Because like this is what it means to me. Like, first of all, I personally don't like when people try to take something I like to do for me and make me feel like I'm failing at it because I'm not monetizing it or making money off of it. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, if I made some money off of something I enjoyed, that would be amazing. But don't try to make me feel like a failure because I'm not monetizing something I enjoy. And then also, a thing that can happen, and I'm sure a lot of artists have experienced this, is when you monetize something you enjoy, when you try to make something money off of something you enjoy, then it becomes a job, just like everything else. It becomes work, and then you start to hate it and devalue the thing that you love. Like, for instance, I used to have a piano in my apartment, and I used to play my piano before I'd go to work. And for me, that was all it needed to be. It calmed me down. It was like a form of my meditation and my prayer. It was like a form of my self-care, was to play my piano. Now people are like, you need to go be a singer-songwriter. You need to go make money off of playing the piano, blah, 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 blah. And they talk to me like I've never had an opportunity to, like, perform for money. When I was in China, actually, I had several opportunities to perform for money because, one, I was younger. Two, I was fairly talented. And three, I also had the foreign card, which is a great card to play in China. I'm foreign, therefore I'm interesting because I'm foreign. And like, so like I actually was presented with a decision that was fairly even balanced. And you could say, are you choosing between your practicality or your dream? Well, in a way, they both became very practical ways to make money because they were literally offering me the same thing. Like, teaching in China was offering me basically accommodation and like, I don't know, let's say 30K a year. And then performing music at this nightclub was offering me accommodation and then basically 30K a year. Ultimately, I did, even though the pay was the same, and even though I love making music, I chose teaching. Why did I choose teaching? And it's because for work, I realized I would enjoy teaching more. I realized that was simpler for me. It's simpler for me to go into a classroom for a couple of hours and teach kids how to read versus, having to rehearse every night before going on show. And then I realized, like, I didn't want to be in the nightclub environment. I realized I did not want to be up in the middle of the night wailing on a guitar while people were drinking. I didn't want to be around drinks, and I felt like I was just going to end up being drunk myself, like, pretty much every night. And ultimately, I decided that I wanted to take, like, if this was paying accommodation in the same pay and this was taking accommodation in the same pay, ultimately, I wanted to do what I felt was the most holistic thing for me to do. And that was, in fact, being a teacher, being a nurturer, over being a nightclub musician. So a lot of people would say, oh, it's the dream to be a nightclub musician. Well, when they were paying the same wages, and it wasn't just about the physical act of teaching versus playing music, and everything else was pretty much the same, I chose teaching because I thought it was the more holistic option for me. Now, if the nightclub would have paid, I don't know, 3 or 4 times more money, I might have chosen a nightclub. But with that being said, if teaching paid 3 or 4 times more than a nightclub, then I would have been back at teaching. So, I actually think it's a good exercise to not think about money, because a lot of people do think about money. Like when we talk about pursuing your dream, we almost always relate them to the arts. Like, we think about acting, being a musician, being a performer, something like that. We almost always relate them to the arts, or even sports, like being a football player, being a basketball player. But dreams are practical. Like, I remember I was talking to a girl in Taiwan, and Taiwan has its has its wealth, but it also has a lot of people in poverty. And their big dream was, like, to be a barista. Like, they probably would have been, like, super happy if they ever could get to America and work at Starbucks for, like, honestly, $13-16 an hour. One, they would have been out of Thailand. Two, they would have been working at one of the biggest coffee chains in the world. 3, they would have fulfilled their dream of being a barista. So also when we talk about dreams, like not everyone has the same dream. You know, some people dream of being an engineer, some people dream of a doctor, some people dream of being a teacher. I mean, probably one of the most honest ways to assess dreams is to ask little kids. And I've heard little kids say things like, I want to be a police officer. Okay, maybe that's a dream for a lot of people in spite what's going on in society. I've heard little kids say, I want to be a teacher. Maybe that's a dream for a lot of people in spite what's going on in society. So I also think there's like this negative backlash where people feel bad about being interested in pursuing something that is practical. First of all, being a police officer is a very noble career. It's very beneficial to society. We need protection. We need safety. We need people to call in emergencies. Teaching. We need someone to look after our kids. We need someone to mentor and guide them when we're not there. We need someone to teach them the things that we do not make the time for to teach them at home, like reading and writing. You know, those are very noble and practical careers. Should both of these careers probably get a pay bump? Yes, they should. And you know, just because we live in a culture of entertainment consumption where, you know, we pay you know, celebrities the big bucks, you know, that creates like a devaluing of other positions in society in some ways. So like, is acting like awesome? Yeah. Is playing music awesome? Yeah. But there's also a lot of other awesome things, like people who make sure you can see and you don't have eye disease are awesome. People who help you take care of your teeth, dentists, are awesome. Like no one likes the absorbent cost of medical care in America, and I definitely think that needs to change, and that's a political thing. And then that's another thing, is the dream to be in politics. Some little girls dream of being the president of the United States and maybe like trying out to be a showgirl in New York and shaking it is not their dream. Maybe some people's dream is to learn English. In fact, I've met tons of people whose only dream was to learn a second language and move to a country. So that's another thing, is like, what is a dream? A dream is a vast thing, and it doesn't need to be limited and put into a small box. I would say basically your role as a person is simply to be independent. And whether that's in a small way or a big way, your role as a person is just simply to be independent. Like if you are living in a humble studio apartment, paying your own bills, even if it's paycheck to paycheck, I would say you are successful. Don't let society fool you. The odds are very much stacked against the normal person. And when people talk about the 1% or the 10% who hold most of the world's wealth, that is very true. And then even unless you're like the 1% of actors and actresses, unless you're like the 1% of musicians, you're still going to be making a humble salary. Honestly, a salary you would get at working at McDonald's or as a teacher, because all jobs have a sliding scale from basically $10 to $100, $10 to $1,000, and it really depends on where you are in this slide. Would I say do work you enjoy and you like? Yes, but does it need to be aligned with your hobbies? No. And I think that's something people don't get. I can sit down and draw for 2 hours because I would rather sit down and draw than watch YouTube for 2 hours. I can do it as a hobby. I mean, is Netflix your dream? All you people who just like honestly watch 4 hours of Netflix and YouTube a day, is it? And you're not creating scripts for Netflix. You're not creating videos for YouTube. You're just a consumer. You're just watching. Is that your dream? No, it's just how you're filling your time. It's a hobby. Watching TV is a hobby. Now, I would say I have more productive hobbies, like I like to play the guitar, I like to play the piano, I like to write. But it doesn't, just because I have hobbies, it doesn't mean it needs to become a career. Because also I have a multitude of hobbies. So if my hobbies were going to turn into a career, then which one is it? You know, and then I just don't like being put into a box. I don't like being limited into one category. You know, and I hate when people try to make you feel bad for having multiple interests. That means you're a well-rounded person. Like someone who only has one interest is not a well-rounded person. But again, I do agree. The way to success is to focus. I think I've talked enough in this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Comment. Tell me what are your dreams. Tell me how you plan on making your dreams happen. And tell me if you've been faced with choosing between being practical and pursuing a dream. With that being said, I am faced with being practical and pursuing a dream, but I have many dreams. It would be a dream of mine to learn Mandarin Chinese. It would be a dream of mine to continue to travel. It would be a dream of mine to make a movie or to get a book published. It would be a dream of mine to work with a musician I admired in the recording studio. But like, if these things happen, they happen. But just as I have like lofty dreams, I have dreams that are very much in my control. Like, I can very much go to Japan within my control. And I don't think you get everything you want out of life. I do think you get some things. So, it like when you join the military, they let you make a dream sheet, and if you're lucky, you get like at least one thing off of your dream sheet. I'm not saying that should be your approach to life, but if you made a dream sheet for your life and you got a few things on your dream sheet, I would say you're doing pretty good. My name is Leon Amore Brave. Please subscribe to my channel.